Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Ryumina. Let's draw a very cool and easy story together. Drops of glass with a blurred background of the night city. So, with black paint and a construction flat brush, apply a black background on both sides. Apply it thoroughly. I have a canvas with a factory primer, but if you don't have one, please choose one with a good stretch and prime it with plain acrylic paint. You can even use construction paint to reduce the cost of the process. Now I'm mixing a little bit of blue, black and white. I'm making it a dirty grey blue to create a transition from black. You know, it looks as if the silhouette of the city and the street are on both sides of the building. They blur and go into shadow, and this is a sky that goes into glare on the road. This is the view from the window. The glare must be on the road. Be sure to put it in. I use a lot of napkins for myself and change them frequently. I hardly ever dampen the brush. I paint with acrylics. I add a little water, just a tiny little bit in general, because if you add too much water, if the brush soaks it up, and a construction brush is guilty of this, if you don't get it wet enough, droplets will flow down, resulting in bald patches on the canvas. You'll have to properly dry it with a hair dryer to apply the second layer in the middle, as light blue as possible, straight up like that, see bright, and right away with a flat small brush, I draw the silhouette of the publications more clearly. Here you don't need to have any artistic talent or technique, just draw sticks alternating between light and dark. It will be a silhouette like, you draw geometric puzzles, some higher, some lower, like Royal in general, alternately. White and black, don't forget about the glare at the bottom. You see, I have this odd puddle down there where the building ends and a light puddle goes down. We need to add more to create glare on the asphalt. It's like after the rain or during it, when cars drive, they light up the road. To get this glare, I use a small construction brush. In my work, I use 3 types of brushes: construction, wide, flat, round, and a small, narrow one. For drawing things like lanterns, actually. Lanterns don't shine from the start, especially against a dark background. To produce a realistic glow, we first paint with white, and then paint over it with yellow, orange, or red for the lanterns. I also added white spots so that they really shine. Same with the lanterns, you can just chaotically scatter them as you want. And now the streaks, for me this was the hardest because it seemed to me that they would require very clear drawings. But after going through this drawing, I realized that I needed to play with colors. The first streaks I do with a light blue-gray color. So I mix white, blue, and gray. Because I'm drawing uneven strokes on both sides, it gives the appearance of straight up drops as if they're actually running. But remember, it's important to do it with a trembling, uneven hand. You don't need to draw identical veins on both sides. The same applies to the drops. They are applied randomly. You just use a small round brush and poke it in different directions. The drops can be vertical or horizontal, and the drips can be as uneven as possible. They don't have to be straight. Mix it up. That's to say, put in a water drop, a glass drop, look it up on Pinterest, get inspired. It's really not complicated. I do highlights on points, you see. I follow the drip and make dots with white paint. Such highlights are small. See what I was talking about? Drops, alternate sizes, alternate directions. I also doodled them chaotically with black paint, irregularly. Most importantly, irregular. Don't make a bubble straight, evenly equal on all sides. Somewhere more black, somewhere less. Let it seem that it all looks stupid, but it works. Now I mix medium viscosity epoxy resin and give time to settle. In the meantime, the acrylic work dries nicely. And also, by the way, advice to you guys. This work would look very cool if before coating the epoxy resin I also sprayed with matte varnish. I thought about this, but the idea came later. When I had already finished the work, that is, the picture, it will seem even more muted through the glass. So try spray with matte varnish, and if you still find Pebeo varnish typically gives a velvet satin effect, the matte goes to a new level, and I apply it with a knife, making drips and streaks, but the resin needs to thicken. It's really good for it to be thick so that it stays in clumps and doesn't spread across our panel. So we mix the resin and it has to thicken. Let it stand like honey, and you can draw not all the drips and not all the streaks. Some are larger, some are flatter. That is to say, I didn't do everything. You observe according to the feelings as you like it. And the most delightful thing is, like the drops glisten from the sun, I am thrilled.